Spirit calls me by sojourner truth. Friends and fellow citizens, I am rejoiced that so many of you have come out tonight to hear me talk about my life. I hope you'll understand me when I say that I am a great admirer of Sojourner Truth. In fact, I am Sojourner Truth from the time I was a little girl up to now. I have never changed my name, not even when I was sold into slavery. For my name is part of me, just as my arms and legs are parts of me. And when I speak with the voice of Sojourner Truth, and I speak from the heart. I was born a slave in the state of New York in the year about 1797. I was not born free like some of you here tonight. I was born a slave and I lived as a slave until I was set free by the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln. But I'm not here to talk about myself or my life or my experiences as a slave. I'm here to talk about the spirit that has called me and that has guided me and that has sustained me through all the trials and tribulations of my life. The spirit that has called me is the spirit of truth and righteousness and justice. It is the spirit of freedom and equality and brotherhood. It is the Spirit of God, and that Spirit has called me to be a witness for truth and righteousness and justice. It has called me to speak out against evils of slavery and oppression and injustice. It has called me to be a voice for the voiceless, to be a champion for the downtrodden, and to be a defender of the oppressed. And I have answered that call, my friends. I have answered that call with all my heart and all my soul and all my strength. I have answered that call with my life. And I'll continue to answer that call, my friends. I will continue to answer that call until every chain is broken and every yoke is destroyed and every captive is set free. For you see, my friends, the spirit that has called me is the spirit of truth and righteousness and justice. It is the spirit of freedom and equality and brotherhood. And most importantly, it is the spirit of God, and the spirit will prevail, my friends. The spirit will prevail because it is the spirit of God, and there is no other power on earth that can stand against it. For you see, my friends, the spirit that has called me is the spirit of truth and righteousness and justice. So let us go forth, my friends. Let us go forth in the strength of that spirit. And let us proclaim the gospel of freedom and equality and brotherhood to all the world. Because the spirit that has called me, it has called me to proclaim the gospel of freedom and equality and brotherhood. It has called me to speak out against evils of slavery and oppression and injustice. So let us go forth, my friends. Let us go forth in the strength of that spirit and let us proclaim the gospel of freedom. For you see, my friends, the spirit calls me and I must answer. I must answer. Thank you.
There's a message on behalf of the people of India to all of you living here in Panama, that we will not accept anymore the constant outrages of terrorism inflicted upon our people. We have suffered attack after attack for almost 4 decades now. Going back to the first attacks in Kashmir in 1989 onwards, we have suffered repeated outrages. It is just not acceptable for us to continue to bear the pain, the loss, the grief, the wounds, and then merely go to the international community saying, look what is happening to us, please help us, please put pressure on the perpetrators to actually identify and kill those attackers. After the Mumbai attack, we had all the evidence. What happened? Has a single person behind these outrages prosecuted, let alone convicted? The answer is no. Sadly, Pakistan has accepted a policy of enabling terrorism, creating it, equipping it and financing it. When for the first time India breached the line of control between India and Pakistan, it was the Uri strike in September 2015. Then came the Pulwama attack in February 2019, when we not only crossed the line of control, but the international borders between India and Pakistan and struck at a headquarters at Balakot. This time, we have gone beyond. We have struck at the Punjabi heartland of Pakistan, killing 9 terror bases. And let me say this to you, that this is the new normal. Operation Sindoor was necessary because these terrorists came and wiped the sindoor off the forehead of 26 women, depriving them of their husbands and their married lives. In fact, there were some women who even cried out to the terrorists, "Kill me too." They said, "Go back and tell them what has happened." We heard their cries, and India decided that the color of the sindoor, the vermilion color on the forehead of our women, will also match the color of the blood of those attackers, those killers, those prosecutors. India is not a warmonger state. Even when we conducted those attacks, our government made it very clear that we do not look for any escalation. Sadly, Pakistan responded. We wanted to send a very clear message, and the target was not the people of Pakistan, not even the government. When we attacked the terror bases. But when they attacked a Gurudwara. They attacked nuns, commonalities of Mother Mary. They attacked civilian homes, civilian vehicles. And that is the difference. What did we do next? We said, if you hit us, we'll hit you back. And we will hit you harder, and precisely hit 11 targets on the night of 9th and 10th. And let me say this to you in advance, that if this happens again, be prepared for the worst to happen. To Pakistan and the people ruling that country, leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. But if you strike us, we will strike you back, and we will strike you harder, and mark my words. Jai Hind everyone. Thank you.